Welcome back to my channel, The Coin Spot. Today is best top 5 coins, one you want to miss. We're diving into the world of United States coins. Please don't skip this video, so let's get it started. Top 1, the 1990p 5 cents coin, covering its history, design, mintage, composition, potential value, and interesting facts. This information is especially useful for collectors or anyone interested in American coinage overview and historical context of the 1990p nickel. The 1990p 5 cent coin from the United States, commonly referred to as a nickel, is part of the long-running Jefferson nickel series, which began in 1938. This coin series replaced the earlier Buffalo nickel and was introduced to honor Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and principal author of the Declaration of Independence. The year 1990 did not mark any significant anniversary or redesign for the Jefferson nickel series, so the coin issued in that year continued with the traditional design that had been in use for decades. It was minted in the Philadelphia Mint, denoted by the P Mint mark. In terms of historical and monetary importance, the 1990p nickel is not considered rare, but it does represent a piece of American numismatic and economic history. Design details. Obverse and reverse. The obverse, front, of the 1990p nickel features a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, designed by German-American sculptor Felix Schlag. Schlag's design has been used on the obverse of Jefferson nickels from 1938 through 2003, although minor alterations were made over the years to improve detail and clarity. Jefferson's bust is surrounded by the inscriptions "In God We Trust" on the left and "Liberty" along with the year 1990 on the right. The mint mark P, representing the Philadelphia Mint, appears to the right of the date. Schlag's original design was selected from a national competition and has become one of the most recognized profiles in U.S. coinage history. The reverse, back, of the coin depicts Monticello, Thomas Jefferson's neoclassical estate in Virginia. E pluribus unum across the top, Monticello in bold below the image, followed by 5 cents and United States of America along the bottom edge. While Schlag originally included more architectural detail in Monticello's depiction, early minting adjustments simplified the image, which remained relatively unchanged for decades. Metal composition and physical characteristics. The 1990p nickel is made of a copper-nickel alloy. Specifically, the composition is 75% copper and 25% nickel, a standard alloy used for nickels since 1866. The coin has a diameter of 21.2 millimeters, a thickness of 1.95 millimeters, and it weighs 5.00 grams. The edge is plain, which distinguishes it from other coins like dimes or quarters that have reeded edges. This composition was chosen for its durability and resistance to wear, and the nickel's relatively low value made it cost-effective for small-denomination coinage. Mintage and circulation. In 1990, the Philadelphia Mint produced approximately 583,790,000 nickels, over 500 million coins. This extremely high mintage means the coin is very common, and examples are still easily found in circulation today. Because of its abundance, the 1990p nickel is generally not considered rare or particularly valuable unless it is in uncirculated or proof condition. However, it is still a collectible item for those building complete Jefferson nickel sets or those interested in modern U.S. coinage value and collectability. The standard circulated 1990p nickel holds a value of 5 cents, which is its face value. However, if the coin is in mint state condition, MS60 or higher, or part of a proof set, it can be worth more to collectors. In mint state, these coins might be worth $5.25 to $10, depending on the grade and eye appeal. In rare cases, a nearly perfect coin graded MS67 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC could fetch $10 to $50 or more, especially if it has strong luster, no contact marks, and well-struck features. While there are no widely known minting errors for the 1990p nickel, collectors always watch for varieties like double dies, off-center strikes, or die cracks, which can significantly increase a coin's value if confirmed. Interesting facts and collector notes. Jefferson nickels are among the longest-running U.S. coin series, with the basic design used continuously for 65 years before a major redesign occurred in 2004 as part of the Westward Journey nickel series. The 1990p nickel does not exist in silver. Nickels were only made in 35% silver during wartime years from 1942 to 1945 due to metal shortages during World War II. The P mint mark was only reintroduced in 1980 for nickels, so a 1990p nickel shows that you have a coin made after that transition. Many coin collectors keep Jefferson nickels by date and mint mark in albums or folders. While the 1990p is a common coin, it is still a necessary entry to complete a full date and mint collection in pristine condition, especially for mint sets or rolls. The 1990p nickel can retain its mint luster, making it more desirable to collectors. Top 2. The 1981 D 5 cents coin, detailing its historical context, design, composition, minting, value, and collectability. This is particularly useful for collectors, history enthusiasts, or anyone with curiosity about American coinage overview and historical context of the 1981 D nickel. The 1981 D 5 cents coin, commonly known as a Jefferson nickel, is part of the United States' long-standing series of 5-cent coins featuring Thomas Jefferson. The Jefferson nickel series began in 1938, replacing the popular but difficult-to-strike Buffalo nickel. The 1981 issue came during a period of stability in U.S. coin design, well before the major redesigns of the 2000s. This particular coin was minted at the Denver Mint, indicated by the D mint mark, and is among the last coins to carry the original Jefferson Monticello design before the redesigns that would come decades later in 2004. The early 1980s were economically complex times for the U.S., marked by inflation, changing interest rates, and transitions in political and economic policy. Although these economic trends didn't drastically affect the design of circulating coinage, they did influence the way people viewed money, and in some cases, coins like the nickel were hoarded for their metal content, even though they were not made of precious metal. Obverse, front, design, Thomas Jefferson. The obverse of the 1981 D nickel features the enduring portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and the principal author of the Declaration of Independence. The designer, Felix Schlag, won a national design competition in 1938 with this left-facing profile of Jefferson. His work remained mostly unchanged for over 6 decades. Surrounding the portrait. In God We Trust along the left rim. Liberty in cursive on the right, followed by the date 1981. And just next to the date is the mint mark D, which denotes the Denver Mint. The overall design reflects Jefferson's Enlightenment ideals and his importance in American political and philosophical history. The portrait is relatively austere and classic, which matches the tone of early 20th century coinage art. Reverse, back, design, Monticello. The reverse side of the 1981 D nickel displays a depiction of Monticello, Jefferson's iconic Virginia estate. Schlag's design presents the front elevation of the neoclassical mansion, capturing its symmetrical architecture and domed roof. At the time, this was one of the few representations of American architecture on circulating coinage. Above Monticello appears the Latin phrase e pluribus unum, which translates to out of many one, symbolizing the unity of the U.S. states. Beneath the building is the name Monticello in all caps. Further below are the denomination 5 cents and the country of origin United States of America. The reverse design remained largely unchanged from 1938 through 2003, though detail quality varied depending on the wear of the dies and coin condition, composition, and physical characteristics. The 1981 D nickel follows the traditional post-war nickel composition, consisting of 75% copper, 25% nickel. This copper-nickel alloy was selected for its durability, resistance to corrosion, and cost-effectiveness. The physical specifications are as follows. Diameter, 21.2 millimeters. Thickness, 1.95 millimeters. Weight, 5.00 grams. Edge, plain. It's important to note that nickels were never made of pure nickel and only contained 35% silver during World War II, 1942 to 1945, to conserve nickel for the war effort. The 1981 D nickel, however, contains no precious metals mintage and availability. The Denver Mint struck approximately 407,392,000 nickels with the 1981 date. This large mintage means that the 1981 D nickel is very common, particularly in circulated condition. It was mass-produced for everyday use, and even now, decades later, it remains a staple in circulation, though higher-grade examples are less common due to wear and tear. Because of this high production, the coin is not considered rare. However, it remains an important part of the Jefferson nickel series and is needed by collectors assembling complete date and mint mark sets. Collectability and coin value. In circulated condition, a 1981 D nickel is worth face value, 5 cents. However, higher-grade examples, especially those in uncirculated, mint state, condition, may be of interest to collectors. The value can vary depending on the quality of the strike, eye appeal, and whether it's been certified by a professional grading service such as NGC or PCGS. Approximate retail values: circulated, 5 cents; uncirculated, MS60, MS63, 25 cents to $1. High grade, $2 to $10. Full steps designation can significantly increase value, sometimes up to $50 to $130 in top grades. The full steps designation refers to a coin with a very sharply struck Monticello image, where all 6 steps at the front of the building are visible and well defined. These are harder to find and more valuable to collectors' error coins and varieties. No major or well-documented mint errors are associated with the 1981D nickel, but like any mass-produced coin, die cracks, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or double dies can exist. These error coins are rarer and can be worth much more depending on severity and collector demand. If you believe your 1981D nickel has an unusual appearance, it may be worth inspecting with a magnifying glass or showing to a numismatic expert. Interesting facts and trivia: the Jefferson nickel series is the second longest running U.S. coin design after the Lincoln cent. Felix Schlag, the coin's designer, initially submitted a reverse design featuring a more artistic Monticello, but the mint asked him to modify it to a more architectural, front-on view. The D mint mark on nickels began appearing in the 1960s. Before then, many Denver-made nickels bore no mint mark. In 1981, the U.S. Mint also produced nickels in proof form at the San Francisco Mint for inclusion in proof sets. These are higher quality, mirror finish coins not intended for circulation. Top 3. The 1977 United States 5-cent coin, commonly known as the 1977 Jefferson nickel. This comprehensive breakdown includes historical background, design, composition, mintage, value, and its role in American coinage. Whether you're a collector, history enthusiast, or someone who just found a 1977 nickel in your change, this will help you understand its full context and importance. Historical background of the 1977 nickel. The 1977 5-cent coin from the United States, more widely known as the Jefferson nickel, belongs to one of the longest-running coin series in U.S. history. The Jefferson nickel series began in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel, and continued with only minor changes in design until 2004. The year 1977 falls into a period where the U.S. Mint was producing billions of coins annually for circulation, but without significant design overhauls. Therefore, the 1977 nickel is not a commemorative coin or part of a special issue. It is a regular circulation coin, minted in large numbers to meet the needs of the U.S. economy. From a historical standpoint, 1977 was a transitional time in American life. The U.S. was post-Watergate, post-Vietnam, and navigating economic challenges such as inflation and unemployment. The nickel, like all circulating currency, remained a foundational element of everyday commerce. Though the coin had no precious metal content or direct numismatic importance upon release, it now stands as a common but meaningful artifact of 1970s America. Obverse design, Thomas Jefferson. The obverse, front, of the 1977 Jefferson nickel features a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and author of the Declaration of Independence. This portrait was created by Felix Schlag, who won a national design competition in 1938. Jefferson's likeness is presented in a neoclassical, dignified style, reflecting his status as a founding father and a symbol of Enlightenment ideals. Around Jefferson's "In God We Trust" on the left edge, "Liberty" in cursive on the right, followed by the year 1977. A mint mark, if present, appears to the right of the date, either D for Denver, S for San Francisco, only for proofs, or none at all, which indicates the Philadelphia Mint. This obverse design was used continuously from 1938 through 2003, though slightly modified in later years to sharpen details. Reverse design, Monticello. The reverse, back, of the 1977 5-cent coin displays an image of Monticello, Thomas Jefferson's Virginia estate and architectural masterpiece. Monticello is shown in frontal elevation, highlighting its neoclassical dome and symmetrical structure. Schlag's design is more simplified than the actual building, reflecting both artistic convention and minting limitations of the time. Above Monticello is the Latin motto E pluribus unum, meaning, out of many, one. Monticello 5 cents and United States of America. The reverse remained unchanged in design for over 6 decades, making subtle differences from year to year more important for collectors' composition and specifications. The 1977 nickel was struck using the standard copper-nickel alloy, which had been in use since 1946, after the end of World War II. During World War II, 1942 to 1945, nickels contained 35% silver, but post-war, the mint returned to the regular alloy. Here are the specifications of the 1977 nickel. Composition: 75% copper, 25% nickel. Weight: 5.00 grams. Diameter: 21.2 millimeters. Thickness, 1.95 millimeters. Edge, plain. This composition offers excellent durability for circulation. The coin contains no silver or other precious metals, so its intrinsic metal value is less than its face value, even today. Mintage and mint marks. In 1977, Jefferson nickels were produced at 3 Mints, Philadelphia. Mintage, 585,376,000 coins. No mint mark appears on these coins. Denver mintage, 315,570,000 coins. The letter D appears next to the date on the obverse. San Francisco. Mintage, 3,251,152 coins. These coins have a mirror-like finish and were made for collectors. The high mintage from Philadelphia and Denver means 1977 nickels are very common, especially in circulated condition. The proof coins from San Francisco are far less common, but still relatively affordable for collectors' value and collectability. Because of its high mintage and widespread use, the 1977 nickel is usually worth only face value in circulated condition. However, the value can increase under the following circumstances. Uncirculated coins. MS-60, MS-63, worth between 25 cents and $1. MS-64, MS-66, worth between $5 and $15. MS-67 Plus, rare, can fetch $25 to $100 plus, especially with excellent strike and luster full steps coins. Coins graded by PCGS or NGC with the full steps designation are more desirable. FS examples in MS-66 or MS-67 can be worth $100 to $300 plus, depending on scarcity and demand. Proof coins. These are worth $1 to $5 on average if taken from original proof sets and kept in excellent condition. Errors and varieties. Collectors also search for 1,977 nickels with errors, such as double die obverse or reverse, off-center strikes, die cracks, clipped planchets. Such error coins can be worth anywhere from $5 to several $100s, depending on rarity. And I appeal interesting facts and collector notes. The Jefferson nickel series is one of the few U.S. coin designs that remained largely unchanged for more than 65 years. Designer Felix Schlag received a $1,000 prize for his design in 1938, equivalent to around $20,000 today. 1977 nickels made in Philadelphia had no mint mark, a practice that continued until 1980, when the P-mint mark was introduced. For nickels, collectors often try to assemble full date/mint sets, including every Jefferson nickel from 1938 onward. The 1977 coin is a necessary entry for such collections, though not a key date conclusion. The 1977 Jefferson nickel's role in U.S. coinage. While the 1977 Jefferson nickel is common in circulation and holds little value in worn condition, it remains an enduring symbol of American history, presidential legacy, and everyday commerce. Its depiction of Thomas Jefferson and Monticello continues the coin's original mission to honor Enlightenment thought, Republican ideals, and the nation's architectural heritage. For coin collectors, the 1977 nickel offers a snapshot of the late 20th century, a bridge between traditional design and modern minting processes. Whether part of a complete set, a proof collection, or just found in pocket change, the 1977 nickel is a small, tangible piece of American numismatic heritage. Top 4. The 1964 Jefferson nickel. This account includes full historical details, coin design, metal composition, mintage numbers, collectability, values, and interesting facts, all written in long, informative paragraphs to give you a deep understanding of this iconic American coin. Historical context of the 1964 Jefferson nickel. The 1964 5-cent coin from the United States holds a special place in the history of American coinage. Though it may appear to be just another ordinary Jefferson nickel, it was minted during a critical turning point in U.S. monetary history, the beginning of the coin shortage crisis of the 1960s. At that time, the U.S. economy was undergoing a period of robust expansion, and rising silver prices were causing people to hoard coins, particularly dimes, quarters, and half-dollars. As a result, coins began disappearing from circulation. Although the nickel did not contain silver, people were hoarding all denominations, creating a nationwide shortage. In response, the U.S. Mint massively increased the production of nickels in 1964, making that year the highest mintage year for Jefferson nickels. The 1964 nickel was also the last U.S. coin to carry a date indefinitely. From 1965 through 1967, coins were made without changing the date as a way to discourage hoarding. This means that 1964 dated nickels were struck well into 1966, making them especially common. Despite its abundance, the 1964 nickel represents a significant chapter in U.S. economic history, where coin production, legislation, and the public's relationship with money all intersected. Obverse design. Thomas Jefferson. The obverse, front, of the 1964 nickel features the well-known profile of President Thomas Jefferson, facing left. This design was created by sculptor Felix Schlag, who won a national design competition in 1938 when the Jefferson nickel was first introduced. His original design was slightly modified by the U.S. Mint for striking, but the portrait remains relatively faithful to Schlag's intent, depicting Jefferson with a serious, stoic expression, reflecting his intellectual and political legacy. Surrounding Jefferson's "In God We Trust" on the left, liberty followed by a star, and the year 1964 on the right. A mint mark appears to the right of the date. This obverse design remained in use for over 65 years, up until it was replaced in 2004. It's a familiar image to generations of Americans who have handled nickels in daily commerce. Reverse design. Monticello. The reverse, back, of the 1964 nickel showcases Monticello, the elegant plantation home of Thomas Jefferson located near Charlottesville, Virginia. Jefferson designed Monticello himself in the neoclassical style, and it serves not only as his residence but also as a physical embodiment of Enlightenment-era ideals. The image of Monticello on the coin was also created by Felix Schlag, although it was simplified to suit the minting process. The original submission by Schlag was more artistic and detailed, but the final design emphasized a clear, symmetrical structure. The inscriptions on the reverse include E pluribus unum across the top, meaning out of many, 1 inch. Monticello directly under the image, 5 cents beneath that. United States of America along the bottom rim. This reverse design was used continuously from 1938 to 2003 and is considered one of the most classic American coin designs of the 20th century. Metal composition and specifications. The 1964 Jefferson nickel follows the standard post-World War II metal composition. Unlike silver coins, the nickel contains no silver or precious metal. Composition: 75% copper, 25% nickel. Specifications: weight: 5.00 grams. Diameter: 21.2 millimeters. Thickness: 1.95 millimeters. Edge: plain. This durable alloy makes the coin suitable for long-term circulation. Even today, many 1964 nickels can still be found in circulation, and their durability ensures they often survive in relatively decent condition. Mintage and mint marks. One of the most remarkable facts about the 1964 nickel is its enormous mintage. Because of the 1960s coin shortage, the U.S. Mint produced more nickels in 1964 than in any other year before or since. Here are the mintage figures for the 1964 Jefferson Nickel Philadelphia Mint. Mintage: 1,024,672,000. Denver Mint mintage: 1,787,297,160. Combined, over 2.8 billion 1964 nickels were struck, making it the highest total mintage for any single date in the Jefferson nickel series. Important note: no nickels were minted with the S mint mark in 1964, and no proof nickels were made that year due to the U.S. Mint temporarily suspending proof set production from 1965 to 1967 to address hoarding concerns. Value and collectability. Because of its astronomical mintage and widespread circulation, the 1964 Jefferson nickel is extremely common. In circulated condition, its value is generally face value 5 cents. However, there are certain cases where the value increases, especially for uncirculated examples, full steps designations, or mint errors. Circulated condition. Value: 5 cents uncirculated. MS60, MS63, 25 cents to $1. MS64, MS66, $1 to $5. MS67 or higher, $10 to $50 plus depending on quality and strike. Full steps varieties. A coin with the full steps designation shows 5 or 6 clear steps on the front of Monticello, indicating a strong strike. FS nickels from 1964 are much rarer because of worn dies used during mass production. MS65 full steps, $100 to $200 plus. MS66 or MS67 FS, $300 to over $1,500 in rare case or error coins and varieties. Collectors search for double die obverse/reverse die cracks clipped planchets. Off-center strikes, improper alloy mixes, error. Coins can range from $5 to several $100s, depending on rarity and collector interest. Interesting facts about the 1964 nickel. The coin shortage crisis of the 1960s led to the Coinage Act of 1965, which removed silver from dimes and quarters. The 1964 nickel stood on the front lines of this crisis, even though it contained no silver itself. Over 2.8 billion nickels were struck in 1964, more than any other year in U.S. history for this denomination. The mint mark was removed from all U.S. coins between 1965 and 1967 to discourage hoarding, making 1964 the last date with a mint mark before the temporary suspension. Despite its age, the 1964 nickel remains commonly found in change, thanks to its durability and high mintage. Top 5. The 1960 United States 5-cent coin, widely known as the 1960 Jefferson nickel. This long-form description will walk you through the historical context, design features, metal composition, mintage numbers, coin value, varieties, and fascinating facts that make the 1960 nickel a relevant piece of American numismatic history. Historical context of the 1960 Jefferson nickel. The 1960 Jefferson nickel was struck during a time of relative stability in American coinage. It was part of the long-running Jefferson nickel series, which began in 1938 and continued with the same basic design until 2003. Though the year 1960 didn't mark a major shift in U.S. coinage, it was part of a decade that would soon experience dramatic monetary changes, such as the coin shortage crisis, the removal of silver from U.S. coins, and the introduction of new designs in the 2000s. In 1960, America was at the dawn of the space age, the height of the Cold War, and transitioning culturally and politically under the leadership of President Dwight D. Eisenhower, soon to be succeeded by John F. Kennedy. The nickel was a staple in everyday commerce, widely used in vending machines, telephone booths, transportation, and local purchases. Although the 1960 nickel does not contain precious metal or feature a special design, it holds significance as a symbol of mid-20th century American life and is a necessary piece in any complete U.S. coin collection. Obverse design. Thomas Jefferson. The obverse, front, of the 1960 nickel features a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, designed by German-American sculptor Felix Schlag, who won a 1938 design competition for the new nickel. Jefferson is presented in a dignified neoclassical style, reflecting the seriousness and intellectual strength of one of America's most influential founding fathers. On the obverse include "In God We Trust" on the left of Jefferson's portrait, Liberty, followed by the date 1960 on the right. A mint mark appears to the right of the date. No mint mark. Philadelphia Mint. D. Denver Mint. This obverse design was unchanged for decades and is easily recognized by virtually every American who has handled change. Reverse design. Monticello. The reverse, back, of the coin features Monticello, Jefferson's self-designed plantation home in Charlottesville, Virginia. The reverse was also created by Felix Schlag and showcases the building's front elevation, highlighting its dome and classical symmetry. The inscriptions on the reverse include E pluribus unum across the top, Monticello under the image 5 cents, United States of America around the bottom rim. This reverse design remained in use from 1938 to 2003 and is considered one of the most enduring images in American coinage. Metal composition and specifications. The 1960 nickel uses the traditional copper-nickel alloy, which has been standard since 1946, following the end of World War II and the temporary use of silver in nickels from 1942 to 1945. Composition: 75% copper, 25% nickel. Specifications: weight 5.00 grams, diameter 21.2 millimeters, thickness 1.95 millimeters, edge plain. This composition was chosen for its durability and cost-effectiveness, and even today, many 1960 nickels survive in circulation due to their solid construction, mintage, and mint marks. In 1960, Jefferson nickels were minted at 2 U.S. mint facilities. Philadelphia Mint. Mintage: 55,473,000 coins. These coins bear no mint mark to the right of the date. Denver Mint. Mintage: 192,582,180 coins. These coins bear the D mint mark to the right of the date. The total combined mintage exceeds 248 million, making the 1960 nickel a common coin, though much less so than the massive mintage of 1964. High mintage from the Denver Mint means that 1960 D nickels are more frequently encountered in circulation than the Philadelphia version. Proof coins were also minted in 1960. Philadelphia Mint. Mintage: 1,691,602. These coins were included in proof sets and feature a mirror-like finish with high detail. They do not carry a mint mark coin value, and collectability. Most 1960 nickels are still worth face value in circulated condition, but value increases significantly for coins in uncirculated condition, proof coins, and examples with full steps or mint errors. Circulated coins. Value: 5 cents, face value. Uncirculated: MS-60, MS-63, 25 cents to $1. MS-64, MS-66, $1 to $5. MS-67 plus, $10 to $50 plus, depending on quality and demand. Full steps designation. Full steps refers to clearly defined steps on the front of Monticello. Collectors prize these coins because they demonstrate a strong, clean strike. MS-65 full steps, $25 to $100. MS-66/67 FS, $150 to over $500, depending on rarity and grading. Service proof coins. Value: $10 to $20 on average, more for high-graded examples, e.g., PR-67 or PR-69. Error coins. Some 1960 nickels are known to have double dies, die cracks, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, improper alloy mixes. These mint errors can be worth $5 to hundreds of dollars, depending on rarity and eye appeal. Interesting facts and collector insights: the Jefferson nickel series is the second longest-running U.S. coin design after the Lincoln cent, and the 1960 coin is a middle-era example. The 1960 D nickel is far more common than the 1960 Philadelphia issue, making the Philadelphia coin slightly more desirable in high grade. The full steps designation didn't gain widespread collector attention until the late 20th century. So many earlier examples were poorly struck and are now scarce in that condition. Collectors seeking to build a complete Jefferson nickel set must include both the 1960 and 1960 D coins, as well as the proof version. Even though the 1960 nickel contains no silver, it remains a popular starter coin for young collectors due to its age, affordability, and historical context. Conclusion: the legacy of the 1960 Jefferson nickel. The 1965 cents coin is a humble yet historically meaningful piece of American coinage. While not rare or valuable in everyday condition, it captures a moment in U.S. history when coins were stable, simple, and widely used. Its depiction of Thomas Jefferson and Monticello continues to reflect foundational American ideals: democracy, architecture, intellect, and liberty. For collectors, the 1960 nickel offers accessibility, affordability, and potential excitement in the hunt for high-grade or error specimens, whether tucked in a collection, found in pocket change, or passed down through generations. The 1960 Jefferson nickel remains a small but enduring artifact of American life in the 20th century. Thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe on my channel for more videos.